What is up, YouTube? It's happening now. I'm a little bit late to this. I've seen some other guys that already posted this, but I'm doing a survival hunter guide. I feel like now that I've been playing a few weeks, I can now, with backup, say things that how I think you should play it and what gear you should aim for, and the meta has kind of stabilized. So yeah, this is my opinion on how you play survival hunter. I'm gonna go through stats, priority, what types of gear you want, like such as trinkets and weapons, what crafts you want to do, talents, of course, single target and AoE, but I'm gonna focus it on M plus because I'm not so much of a raider, and also of course rotation wise, generally how you should be playing in different scenarios. So hope you enjoy, and let's get right into it. So my hunter is 613 right now with the 4 set. Of course, that's just get the 4 set. It's not super good, but it's an increase. You get wildfire bomb damage, and raptor strike is 10% damage for targets affected by bombs. So very simple, you don't have to think about it at all. But first, stat priority. What do you want to do? Previously, haste and verse was kind of our main stats, or haste and crit, and then a lot of verse, especially in season 3 and 4 of Dragonflight. We stacked so much verse because we were so squishy. Now that has changed, mainly because of this mastery change, where you and your pet deal increased damage and take reduced damage, depending on how much you have. And the thing we want to do here is just boom, 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 amp up the mastery as much as possible. With that, also aim for a lot of crit. Note, I don't have perfect stat at all yet. For example, I have almost 10k verse. I want to drop that to maybe like 2k. I don't need the verse. The mastery would suit me much better, but that's because I have some stuff like heavy verse ring that I don't want, heavy verse neck, because I'm just taking stuff with item level right now. But you want to aim for a lot of mastery and a lot of crit. If you go to this wonderful web page that is called Murloc, you can see here, of course, everyone aims for a lot of mastery. That is 15k. Like what do you call it, divided above the top 50 hunters that are playing with it. So 25% mastery and 29% crit, get some haste, and then lastly verse. With that, we are going into, of course, you get the hang of what you should aim for in most of the pieces, but there is, of course, trinkets and gear, such as weapons. So for example, I got lucky. I have a heroic two-handed staff. I am now using it mainly because it's my highest item level weapon. I'm planning, as soon as I'm getting more crest, to craft the charged halberd, and that has like an effect on it. Let me show you. This one. You have you can, of course, the main thing you want from this one is that you can choose your stats. Of course, crest mastery instead of mine, that is heavy verse, I think. Yeah. So again, bad stats. The mastery is okay, but you want the other stuff. But then you can also then embellish it with Sendence. Every 8 seconds spent in combat, Sendence grants 89 of random secondary stats. We love secondary stats right now, so that's a good item, or that should be your. If you don't get a hold of a weapon like I did very early, you should aim to craft that weapon in some sort of way. I'm gonna craft it as soon as I can craft it to max level. Trinkets. I've been actually very lucky, I would say. I haven't been able to play as much as I wanted, but I've still managed to snag myself Scarden's Grace, which is our best trinket. It's just, flat 3.1k agility, and also you get 6k mastery. Without, there's no cast or anything. You just press it, use it with coordinated assault at the same time, and boom, you're gonna do way amount of damage. For example, if we press it now, I have 17 now, but if I press it, I have 25. So that's a 7% damage increase on all my spells. Just from a trinket. Pretty good, pretty good. Second trinket. At the moment, I'm using Deadeye's Spyglass. It's a decent one, or it's very good. It's not the best. There's some alternatives here that can definitely be discussed. This is one of them because you have the crits and all that stuff, which is of course good for us. But if we are looking here, you can see that people who are more nerdy than I and sim stuff, they have checked a lot of stuff. So Spyglass is up here at 8 here, which is good. But I would like to try out maybe the Empowering Crystal from Dawnbreaker, or of course the Arakara Sackblood that pretty much every person in this game want right now. And those are all good. I think this one is mainly for single target. So for M+, I would say aim for Empowering Crystal, Arakara Sackblood, or Deadeye Spyglass. But have Guardian's Grace as your main trinket. So you can try around the different stuff here with your second trinket, of course. Other than that, you craft the second embellishment, of course, I forgot about that, is usually crafted on, let me see what they do. They craft either this one that you also get a lot of crit when it's kind of like Blue Silk Linen from Dragonflight, where we got mastery. Now we get crit instead, which is just good. You gear warms with Woven Dawnbread and gains 756 critical strike when over 80% health. Pretty good, pretty good. And also I've seen people are doing such as this one, Embrace the Darknet, doubles the effect of your other Nerubian embellishment item, and then that is your weapon that you can combo it with, I think. Because you see here, this is a Nerubian embellishment, so you double it with the cloak. Again, I've actually been just trying to get item level, so I've crafted like a boot just because I didn't have a boot. I know it's not maybe the best, but sometimes, I'm not in a hurry. The season is long, so I'm gonna do it later on, as I said. I got the weapons, I was like, I can just craft whatever right now and get my item level up so I can get into keys and, start grinding. So, of course, you see your situation depends, but you should, if you want to talk about meta, then of course weapon and cloak or something like that, and the bracers for stats or the crit, good embellishments. All right, I'm not gonna talk much more about it. Aim for a lot of mastery and then crit, get some haste here and there, and try to skip your versatility at all. And always aim for this one. If you can get Guardian's Grace, that's perfect. You are set up for the whole season with one trinket at least. And then you can try around with either, as I said, Spyglass, Dawnbreaker trinket, or Sackblood, and yeah. Right, talents. I'm gonna start with M+, and this is a pretty standard build for most of us. If you remember or saw my previous video, I did a guide sort of with in the pre-patch. There, with the different tier set and all the stuff, we actually went into the Fury of the Eagle. We're not doing that right now. It's not worth it. Instead, we want more points in here in the middle, and I don't think you guys wanna deep dive here, so I'm not really gonna go super deep into all this stuff, but you have, of course, things such as quick shot. Kill command is very good because you get every free quick shot you get instead of an explosive shot, instead of an arcane shot. So, and with the tip of the spear I'm gonna go back to because that's in the rotation. You have butchery for AoE, and that you can spread your Serpent Sting with applying it from Raptor Strike, and you can like spread it around, and I'm gonna show you. But then of course they have also reworked Coordinated Assault since Dragonflight, which I'm very happy about. We don't have that messy turn off pet auto attack and stuff like that. And they've actually made it 1 minute CD, which is very good. And for anything short of like an 10, you should go with 1 minute CD here, because it's just better to pump it up, pump it out, you know, more often than having a bigger Coordinated Assault. But when you're pushing high keys and Pax lives for a while, then you can make the switch to Relentless Primal Ferocity, so you can get an even better Coordinated Assault, and that combined with, of course, your trinkets and all that stuff, you can end up doing some pretty huge damage, but you need to have the pack living for more than like 15 seconds sometimes. So it's good. It's not really worth it if everything dies too quickly. So that's why most people are doing symbiotic adrenaline instead. Over on the left side, we have pretty standard. The only thing I would say you can switch around is maybe not doing bursting shot and going to pathfinding here. You can go, for example, Kodo Tranquilizer, which is like, if you're a team player and do use your soothe a lot, it's just nice. You can soothe up the free targets, or you can have reduced cooldown on it. So bursting shot is generally not something you should be pressing too much, because it spread it too much. But if you're comfortable knowing like, okay, I can interrupt this cast with this and I won't disturb the pack too much, yes, bursting shot is still interrupt, which is good for CC. So if you have premates and such like that, it's of course a good addition. And of course, Sentinel. I'm not really gonna go into it that much now. We're gonna go to it in the rotation. But you know, you have an owl or like stacks on it, and then you can here with the Luna Storm, you get like a circle on the ground that you spawn when pressing your bomb, which is just a lot of damage. It's very passive, and other than maybe, you know, making sure that you use butchery, because that like does some AoE from the stacks and that gives you more damage. It's not really much to like remember in your rotation, other than don't use bombs too quickly while the tank is still gathering up the pack, because you might end up putting it somewhere where he's not gonna be, so you're gonna lose all that damage. So that's not good. And for there's some different ones, of course, but this is my raid talents, and here you can see we remove butchery and stuff like here, like some nodes like sulfur lind, and we also remove exposed flank, and we go into spearhead. Spearhead is, of course, you know, the big bleed, and you get increased critical strike chance for 10 seconds. So it's a lot of burst combined with, you know, trinkets and all that. It's very good. And here, of course, we go the 2-minute coordinated assault. Pretty standard here. Sentinel here, we only really just switch around. Maybe like here, you know, this one is good for a raid boss, but this one does AoE damage and it's best for M+. This one is guaranteed Sentinel stacks. This one is reduced cooldown. I think Sentinel Watch kind of messes up your cooldown with your Guardian's Grace, so I really don't like it too much. So I would say this one is better. There is also one, if you're just lolling around and doing like outdoor stuff and like very simple stuff, you can actually go and like outdoor build with pack leader. So your basically kill commands is very strong, and does like your pet does like extra auto attacks and bigger kill commands and all that stuff. And we can go like into Fury of the Eagle, because it's still a good cooldown to just clear up some adds when you're outdoor. But this is, as mentioned, not really for M+. It's gonna drop off then. Pack leader sounds good on like paper, I would say. I was hoping that it would actually be viable when I looked at it in the pre-patch. But sadly, the themes kind of shows that it does not. So it's good for, as I said, outdoor content, but when it comes to packs that lives a lot and single target and all that, it's just no, not worth it. Sentinel does way too much damage. I can show you one example here. Just damage breakdown. We're gonna go into rotation now in a second, but I just want to show you. I did, for example, 9 mist yesterday. And here you can see I was at the top of the meter. I did 1.14 million DPS on the whole dungeon. And if you see, Sentinel did 22% damage, and also Lunarstorm, which is the owl, did 22% of my damage. That is pretty huge for a hero talent. And of course, a lot of bomb damage and a lot of explosive shot damage. Raptor Strike, Butchery, Flanking Strike. This is the AoE that you do from the Sentinel stack, so you know that's some damage too. But you can see the trend here. There's a lot of bombs. Get your pet going with a lot of kill commands for the tip of the spear, and do tons of damage, and it's pretty fun, I must say. I'm sure you will enjoy it too. So let's go into rotation. Oh, I'm gonna start with M+. And here we have our Paladin going on, and my opener is usually, you can always think, I'm gonna put it in a general way of thinking, so it's easier to understand, because sometimes there's never always like, oh, I have to follow this rotation exactly, otherwise it's crap. No, I think it should be a general way of thinking, so you can yourself make the best decision on the spot. And for example, I would say here I have everything on. I know that back is standing still. So for example, I know that I can press bombs very quickly. So I'm gonna start with kill command, get one tip of the spear stack, and then harpoon, because we're actually playing with terms of engagement that gives you extra focus. So it's just extra focus region. Let me just see, is there something else I should explain here? Yes, flanking strike. Yeah, let's go that way. So I start with kill command, get a tip of the spear, get a bomb going, and then I harpoon in, get another kill command, flanking strike, do explosive shot, bomb. Now I've used everything. Now I actually go into all my coordinated assault and pop my trinkets, and there you see, since I'm doing the 1 minute CD, I get, or no, not really since I'm doing that, but I get 2 charges of bombs and 3 stacks of tip of the spear. So I'm just gonna immediately, when I press coordinated assault, pump out all my stacks of bombs, because you never want to waste a bomb charge. And I would say the general rule of thumb is use your tip of the spear stacks for bombs, explosive shots, and flanking strike. You don't really need it for your spenders, such as Raptor Strike or Butchery. It helps, of course, if you just have an abundance of them. Maybe you've been like standing outside for a bit and have 3 stacks. Yes, don't worry if you spend a tip of the spear stack on your Butchery. It's no problem. But you generally want it, like for example here, I have an explosive shot up and I have a bomb up. I'm gonna use the explosive shot up to get the cooldown rolling on that for another one, since this one is still using, I don't have 2 stacks on it yet. So there, for example, the explosive shot was better than the bomb. But now, for example, I really want the second bomb to go off. So I'm gonna go kill command, bomb, get both rolling away, so I can start doing other stuff. For example, using Butchery and then Raptor Strike to apply my dots. And that's because we have this little thing where Casting Butchery makes your next Raptor Strike or Mongoose Bite hit 3 targets. And with this one, you apply Serpent Sting. So this combo makes it so that you apply Serpent Sting on 3 targets when you do Butchery, Raptor Strike. And if it's already applied, it also spreads even more. So you don't worry about having to tap target around to spread the dot. I'm gonna show you one example here. If I do Butchery, Raptor Strike, I have it on 3. I'm gonna do another one, Butchery and Raptor Strike. You see, I applied it on all 5 targets. And that spreads, I think, even more. So you can definitely get it going on all ads just by doing this twice. And there's no... I mean, I showed you this damage overall from the mist. Let me show you again. Can you, like, give it to me? Here we go. What is it doing? Right, there we go. Here we go. Let's check the breakdown. You think that before Serpent Sting was very good and it did a lot of damage. We had like the Hydra's Bite. We don't really have that yet, where you got like some stacks and all that stuff that you could spend with Raptor Strike. That doesn't exist. So Serpent Sting is of course damage, but it's not going to be your main damage. So I'm not worrying too much about applying it to everyone the first thing I do. I think bombs are way more important than explosive shots, and get like flanking strikes up, because as you see, bombs do way much more damage. My highest bomb did 2 million front damage. That's kind of insane. An explosive shot does the same, like 1.6 million, and that's for everyone, you know. And compared to a 600k crit that happened like once, of course it's gonna help, but it's not your main prio. So I think you got the overall sense here. You want to use tip of the spear a lot, but mainly focus it on bombs and explosive shot. And with this flanking strike, you also want to use it before you use flanking strike, because tip of the spear grants an additional 15% damage bonus to flanking strike, and flanking strikes generates 2 stacks of tip of the spear. So that combo will look like you do a kill command, and now my flanking strike will do an additional 15% damage, so it's 30% damage increase. Or no, it's even more, 22 plus 15. I do that, and now I have 2 stacks, and I can spread my kill command on 2 nearby targets. And that's from your exposed flank. Because it also does damage on 3 targets, but it also does so that your kill command is AoE, which is good. But yeah, bombs and all that stuff that I've just talked about, get that stuff rolling. And when you're playing with the 1 minute CD, use coordinated assault all the time. Don't waste it like, oh, I have to leave it to next pack. No, use it, and it will be up for the next pack still. So it's pretty good. And of course, you also get the Bombardier. When it ends, you get 2 free explosive shots. So you can kind of get a sense of, like, if you're tracking it, it goes on for 20 seconds. You know that you're gonna get 2 of them once it ends. So maybe save a few stacks of tip of the spear. So, or that's what I'm doing at least. So I can spend all 3, because you're gonna get 2 free and then a third one that is like reset. So now it's 3 seconds left. I'm gonna have 3 stacks now, so I can boom, boom, boom. That was 3 explosive shots with all benefiting from tip of the spear. if you know when it's coming, it's pretty easy to, you know, prepare for it. So try to do that as much as possible. And of course, if you want to get a little bit more into detail, yes, you can of course do a lot of tab targeting, because the kill command does a dot. So if you tab around and do kill commands, yes, that's gonna increase it even more. If you feel like you have the space, also of course disengage and harpoon in as much as possible to get this terms of engagement. And yeah, I think that was the AoE rotation. So let's move into single target, which is similar. I would say my rules here that I've stated kind of stays the same. The only main thing now is that we have Mongoose Bite, of course, which is a spicy spell that they've actually, I would say, bettered. They've done it better, because before, once you pressed it, you get 15 seconds to stack it up as much as possible, and it does a lot of damage. Now you can actually increase that timer with using kill command, and as you probably understand, tip of the spear is very good for Mongoose Bite 2, so you want to use stacks on your Mongoose Bite, especially the late ones. So there's a whole mix there where you cannot extend it. Like if you see here the timer, if I start pumping, it's gonna stay on 13 seconds almost all the time, which makes it very easy for me to get up to 5 stacks. Before that was kind of hard. Kind of have to put a lot of effort and use, like, I only gonna focus on this right now. As you see here, I have 5 stack and I'm kind of just pumping it out. I got, what was it, 5 stacked Mongoose Bite out, and that does a lot of damage, especially when you put your trinkets into it and coordinated assault. But it's the same as in M+. You cannot just want to rotate bombs and explosive shot with tip of the spear. Ramp up this as much as possible, and of course when spearheads comes online, you want to kind of combo it so that you have some sort of Mongoose Bite window up already. So for example here, I'm now, oh, I lost it, but this one is, you know, 3 stacks now. That's pretty good. I can do a spearhead now to get some extra crit for my late stacks. Mongoose Bite, which is just gonna pump out a lot of damage. Always good. I didn't get a lot of resets, but you get what I mean. Save it for when you know that you have some damage. Either a lot of bombs and explosive shots, or Mongoose Bites. And yeah, I think you're gonna get the hang of it. There's no point in me saying you should do X, Y, and Z exactly. I think the general rule of thumb is better. So the overall rule stands. Bombs is kings. Use tip of the spear a lot on bombs and explosive shots. And of course, use all your spells on cooldown. There's no point in saving stuff, in my opinion, because every second that you wait with something, that's a lost damage of maybe getting it up another time. For example, if you wait 20 seconds on using coordinated assault, every time it gets up, in 3 times you're gonna have lost a whole window of another coordinated assault. And you know, quick math, that's not really the best, I think. Yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna say today. Of course, as you probably see, I am cheating a little bit. I am not a fear crafter, or, you know, I know everything. I don't have this. I don't have time to push. Like if we check the ratings, I'm nowhere near where they are. They are 2.7k. I'm 2.2, I think. So bear with me. I'm just a survival hunter enthusiast who has been playing this game for a lot of time, and I think with these wonderful webpage and wonderful people that do a lot of hard work to, you know, sim and get the best stuff out for us, I just wanna show that to you guys even more by doing this video. So yeah, murloc.io, super good webpage. It shows you the top 50 hunters, survival hunters especially, on what they're playing, what stats they're doing, the talents, and of course all the gears, embellishments, enchantments, gems. I haven't talked about gems at all, but you see, you want the master crit one, deadly onyx, and of course one epic gem, which is the culminating blasphemite. And of course Wowhead, also very good. I'm using it a lot to check my trinkets and just, you know, trying to get an understanding. There's also, for example, blood mallet, also very good webpage. You can see all your trinkets here, simmed and ready to go, and that's pretty nice. So here you can, for example, see that Mad Queen's Mandate is pretty good, but this is for single targets. Yes, let's do 5 targets instead. Here you see that Sack Blood is even better, and then you have the Mercurial Egg and Scardian's Grace. So a good combo is, of course, Arakar, Sack Blood, and Scardian's Grace. Or the Empowering Crystal, or Treasure's Transmitter. Like, there's a lot of good trinkets for us. I'm having Dead-Eyed and Scardians because that's what I got. But so there's a lot of good web pages out there, and go check them out if you just, you know, want to know something, one thing, specific thing, like, oh, I got this thing, is it good or not? Yeah, go check that out instead of going to me, because, you know, my video, you have to, you know, click around, find it, and maybe they, no, go to your web pages. Like, that's where the real info is. I'm just trying to showcase how to get that information. And yeah, I'm not gonna say more. Hope you enjoyed this discussion, or me trying to convey my my opinions on how to play Survival Hunter, and of course that you got my way of thinking, and hopefully with these tips and tricks and all that stuff, you are also gonna pump more as a Survival Hunter. We are looking pretty good this season. I'm liking the change that we are not crap anymore. We're actually decently good, which is nice. And I hope to see you on the top 100 meter. Tell me in the comments if you made it already. I'm maybe one day I can catch up to the big boys, but that is not yet. Have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.